Good morning, Sam.
Good morning, Bob.
I am super happy to have you here. Good morning, professional photographers of Idaho and beyond. I'm Bob Ryder.
I'm Sam Marvin.
He's our president. How good is it to have you on the show today, man?
I don't think of myself as anything different.
I think it's great to have you here today. And it's just a unique opportunity. It's great to have another face on here. I know everybody's used to seeing Bob and Larry. We did a great summer series.
Yep.
That was fun. You were here for that.
Yep.
Yeah, we did the What's in My Bag, which was more like What's in My Truck.
I brought in a good bit of stuff, but yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
We still have a couple.
I've got TJ
right?
lined up. I had TJ lined up for last week, and I just wasn't capable.
Yeah.
Last week, it wasn't something that I could manage, and there's just days like that, right?
Yep. Absolutely.
So we've had to come up with kind of work comes before volunteerism.
Yeah.
And this is volunteer.
Yep.
You're not paid to be president, right?
I think sometimes people forget that. And I think as volunteers we sometimes forget that. It's a hard position because no matter how much you do put into it, and especially the stuff you put into it that nobody sees, you feel, I constantly feel like I don't do enough. I feel like I'm falling short, and it's very overwhelming. There's a lot of anxiety to it.
So volunteerism is a lot like that, whether it's for a community like this, a nonprofit, or if it's for, I've got a friend who volunteers at the rescue mission.
Yeah.
And they're all really important things. And you take that on as a job and you put it as a really high priority in your life if you're doing a good job at it. And but we've had to establish a boundary.
Yeah.
Like my paid work and health come first.
Yeah.
That's why I wasn't at fall retreat. And I helped plan fall retreat.
Yeah.
But I was so sick. I'd been down in Utah at a volleyball tournament, and there's probably 4,000 people in this gym. I came back with the crud, and I masked. I had a session on Tuesday. Most of those people had been down at the same thing I was. I'm like, I came back hoarse. I'm masking for your safety. And then for I'm immunosuppressed because I've had the transplant.
Yeah.
So I was sick for 2 weeks. My kids caught it 3 days. They're good. They're back. Like whatever. But anyway, so that's why you haven't seen us for a couple of weeks, just because I was not able to do this, and we've got busy people.
And another thing that I think is really important to understand especially about this, I don't think that people really realize the thousands and thousands of dollars of equipment that you and I personally have invested.
And did you know Larry's investing?
I
so
didn't,
that he could take this on
but
too?
that is nice because ultimately that is a challenge. Like this isn't something we can just hand off to somebody.
Right. It's the Bob. Currently, it's been the Bob and Larry show because Bob's got a
Yeah.
studio station set up for this, and I've invested in
Yeah.
all the equipment to do it. You've got a station to do this.
Exactly.
And if you're working,
But even still, like when I handed it off to you, that like I gave you a little bit of stuff, but now you have like so much more like digital stuff in it.
Yeah.
That like I can't really say, hey, send it over to me and I'll do it at my studio.
It'll just look different, right?
I can. It'll look
Look
different. And I think it's really, really important to keep that cohesive look.
I think so
throughout.
too. And I think maybe once Larry gets his equipment, we'll start to share some of those assets. Anyway,
Yeah.
you know what, folks? It's just great to be here. I see that our tally light for that phone is giving us an error, and that's just the way it's going to be.
Oh, that's
I
fine.
go fix it.
I was confused. I was confused for a second. I thought the green was one we looked at, but it's actually the red.
Red is red.
Okay.
Red, you're dead. Red.
Red.
It's like
the
it's
safety
like safety
on a fire.
Right. Red, you're dead. Right. Anyway, folks, it's another week, and we're in a busy season. Q4 for our commercial side is always very busy. It's when most of the corporations haven't utilized all of the money that they've been allotted to use for whatever purpose.
Yeah. And
they're like, oh well, we can spend this on XYZ. So this
Yeah.
is me reaching out to most of my clients and saying, hey, this is a great time of year
Yeah.
for you to use up those funds so you don't lose in next year's budget.
And in Idaho alone, this is the busy season. We see obviously an uptick September and October because we got that beautiful fall light.
Sure.
People, all
fall
want
colors are
family fall
changing.
colors.
Mhm.
So
You're doing holiday pictures?
yeah, and then not only that, once November hits and people slow down, then it's like getting everything done and out. People, I know for me in my business, I hate the week before Christmas because you're like people want to get in, get everything ordered, and then they're like, a week later, like, hey, is my stuff done? Well, do you remember I told you like 4 to 6 weeks? It's only been 6 days.
it's fair to say, because you're not just running a photography studio, you also have a print lab.
And that makes things even worse too, because then I'm not just printing our stuff, we're printing everybody else's stuff that they're trying to get in.
Yep.
And so,
hey, we've got some great folks on this morning. Let's just say hi. We've got Shauna's here this morning. She says, good morning, everyone. Laquita is on board this morning. She says, good morning, ladies. Apparently it's in all layout. Well, Vince is here. Let's show what the guys are doing. Good morning, Vince. Good to have you on, buddy. We don't always, if you're not, I see, look at all these people have commented here. I'm just not seeing, they're way up there.
oh, you got to scroll down.
Look at this. We've got a great group of folks. The names are all like
Funky.
formatted, strange. Probably
Stretch your window.
I'm going to open the window up like that.
There you go.
Now we can see who's who.
Carly
Carly Moon
Moon.
is here.
Hey, Carly.
This is great to have everybody on board here. Oh, Laquita says, howdy, boys. I appreciate that.
Thanks for looking out for the boys.
Yeah, thanks for looking out for us. Anyway, we've got a cool episode today, and it was a little vague. My titles are intentionally a little bit vague because I want you to be thinking about what it could mean.
Yeah.
So today's episode is Be More Easily, and we've got some really salient points that we're going to bring.
Yeah.
We do have an announcement.
Okay.
Okay. Should I hit that first?
Yeah, absolutely.
let me run
Let's
over
get to
there.
the announcement. I'm excited about this topic because, and when Bob and I were talking about this topic this week, I sent him a message back and I said, could we add something more about like photography in the title?
Business.
But thinking about it and kind of what we were talking about, the different, or it being, not just be more in business and photography, and I'll let you kind of talk on that in a bit, but it really is. It's a great vague topic that really applies to a lot of things, and it also applies to how we are in our businesses right now in the busy time.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I just came from a networking mixer this morning. It's our first Friday for the chamber, which is always great. There's like 50 people that turn out at 7 o'clock in the morning to eat like donuts and whatever. So much conversation going on about the economy and the markets.
Yeah.
And one guy was on his phone, and he's in the financial sector, and he's watching the NASDAQ. And, it's just it's almost like palpable. You can feel it in the air,
yeah,
right?
It feels like that in the fall, and it's school's back in session. Everything's busy moving.
Oh my gosh, I've got one kid doing 3 different things. He's doing taekwondo, soccer, and playing piano.
Jeez.
And I've got another kid doing tournament volleyball, which is another reason that I'm not here a lot, because all of our boys volleyball isn't a school-sanctioned event in Idaho. Utah just got their schools sanctioned. So we play out of state.
Yeah.
Only. So we're traveling a lot for that. Anyway, onward with our announcement right now. It is our first Friday lunch and social.
Yep.
And we have a new venue, new location this go around. Sky Facet is going to host down in Idaho Falls.
Twin Falls.
Twin Falls.
Yeah.
And I just told you I had trouble with this.
You did. And when you're saying a new location, that's not for Boise. The Boise or Meridian location is remaining the same. It's just that Twin Falls is coming online, so kind of our central part of the state.
Yep.
Idaho Falls
I couldn't get a host in Idaho. Yeah, so one of our regular hosts, they're out of country right now, Venice or some shabby place.
Rough.
And some other folks that I chatted with down there, they're like, I'm in the middle of a big project. So, we were just talking before we came online about let me take this light away. We'll come back to the phone, the cameras here. So excited about lunch socials. This is a no-host kind of deal. Come out, buy your lunch, come sit down with our group and chat. It's just a great time. Sometimes we have 6 people. Sometimes we have 26 people.
Yeah.
Right. We're always adding tables, and we'll find enough chairs, and it's a good time to just sit and get your. We do a pizza salad thing, and it's terrific. And anyway, it's just a good time. This isn't official time. This isn't like you're online and you're expected to hold up your end of anything. This is come and be social.
Yeah.
Right. This isn't just a good time to come and sit with the
Get
people
to know
that you care about.
New people, and we have actually had a lot of newer people there.
Yep.
Dave Keys has been coming. Your friend came. Was it Craig? Craig came. Darren.
Yeah.
Craig came a while back.
Craig's been. Yep. I'm wondering if we're going to see Jessica Dreidel out of. She's out of NISA. She's one of Bob Quick's mentees, and I was chatting with Bob Quick a little bit earlier this morning on Facebook. I don't know if he's coming. I hope you're coming, Bob.
I think he's coming. I talked to him a little bit this week, and I believe he's coming.
I would love to have all you folks there. This is our time to just sit together and share a meal and chat about what's going on.
Yeah. So did you know that Bob? Well, I'm sure you knew Bob Quick used to work for like Kodak and like all that stuff. He gave me like a year ago. He gave me this old tattered DVD case with some videos that he had recorded for. He was doing some teaching for Kodak, but it was at a studio, and they recorded it to DVDs. And I the other day I realized I was like, you know what? I'm gonna watch through them real quick, and I'm gonna digitize them for him.
Oh wow!
And so I realized I didn't have a DVD player in my house. I was like, so then I found a DVD burner that we had bought back and I say this like it's forever ago because it's not that far ago, but back when all of a sudden they started to phase DVD players out of computers.
Yeah.
And so we bought a DVD burner to plug in. Well, then I realized I didn't have a USB to USB-C plug. I was like, wow, this is crazy, like how much this world has changed. And that's why I decided, I was like, you know what? I'm going to digitize these and give them the option to put them up on YouTube, because my point in saying all this is that he is a really cool resource that has been through some.
Well, he's been through a lot of those transitions.
Yeah.
I say today's photographers, we are today's photographers, but I come from, we used to have like photography and darkroom classes in school.
Yeah.
And now that looks a lot different.
That's actually when I started too, but I never ever actually did any of that because they screwed up the chemicals in our lab. But that's when I started my business.
Okay. Jeez. Well, and you're a lot younger than I am.
A little. Maybe not a lot.
I'm 54.
So I'm 12 years younger than you.
You're a little bit younger.
A little bit.
All right. But that 12 years is a pretty...
It is.
Like, at that 12-year mark, they're probably phasing those labs out of the schools.
I'm pretty sure they did away with them.
Yeah, they're
quite a while ago.
They're done. Now it looks like here's a cheap camera, and we call it yearbook class, and you get they don't even really learn to take pictures. They just anyway.
Yeah.
It's a different world today than it was yesterday.
It is.
We've got a couple of comments here, and I love it, so I'm going to put it on the air. Carly, I appreciate your commenting in here. It says, Bob, really love your pullover. Sam, you already know Dave and I both love your shirt. What are you wearing?
Relevant fishing. So it's like, this is like the height of fishing time, and it's like such a pull because
Well,
like,
and
bass fishing.
you and I have never talked to. I owned a sports shop
That's
for
true,
10 years. I
Yeah.
fished
So
almost daily
Yeah.
as part of my living.
Well, unfortunately, Bart and I go out far too much.
You can't fish too much.
No, but here's what's funny, and this is probably not the right topic, but I have, like, have you ever seen the video about the magic laundry basket?
No.
Like how the
Yes,
guy's
yes,
like,
yes, yes,
I don't know
yes,
why,
yes,
but like I put this plate on the counter, or my clothes in
just
this
goes
basket,
away.
and they end up folded
And the
in my
wife
drawer
is
the
there
next
like,
day, right?
what are you talking about?
Well, I have this magic boat. Bart loves to go fishing on my boat, and so he comes over and he's like we're going at 6. I wake up at 6. He's already got the boat hooked up, the batteries unchecked. You know, he pulls it with his truck, pays for gas in his truck. All I have to do is put gas in the boat and drive it.
That's terrific.
And it's really easy to.
Long time ago, like I said, we owned a sports shop on a lake in Northern California. It was California's largest natural lake and one of the best bass fisheries west of the Mississippi. Absolutely phenomenal lake. They do the Bass Pro thing out there with the helicopters and the whole deal.
Yeah.
And but I used to fish with my clients, my customers. It was just a great time. You get a lot done on the boat. Oh yeah. Right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of really good conversation, and it's not just business. It's business and family and relationship, and it's just, you don't even know, guys don't even know they're talking about it, but they're talking about it like it's a really good time.
I don't know if there's that much talk on our boat.
There is.
Or on my boat. My boat. I keep saying our boat.
Except that our boat. It's your boat.
It's my boat.
Except the guys communicate differently.
Yeah.
Right? There's just it's not talk, ladies. Sometimes it's just
different.
It's a looker. It's whatever. Anyway, do you want to? We should probably get on.
Yeah, let's go.
It's 1:15. We did our announcement. We're having lunch together today.
Yeah.
Come join us. Idaho Pizza here in Meridian on Fairview, across from Express Cafe. And I'm going to get this right. It's Idaho Pizza Company. It's on Kimberly Road in Twin Falls, and Sky Fassett is your host down there. That won't be anything but fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Sky, I appreciate you doing that. And I, if any of you guys are watching this from any other part of the state and you are willing to host a lunch, this is not something that's exclusive to Boise. It's just we're trying to really open up that opportunity for community in our organization. It is challenging for us to be. It's in our mission statement. Everywhere.
Yeah.
So,
and it's just a geographically large state. I mean, if this were Rhode Island, we wouldn't have any trouble bringing everybody together, right?
Yeah, probably.
It's why, it's like California has PPC, and then there's dozens of regional or local PPA affiliates out there.
Yeah.
I was not part of, but associated might be a better word, with Wine Country PPA and PPSV in the Sacramento Valley. But here we are. I would echo your sentiment.
Yeah.
If you're north of us and you'd like to host something in the McCall or anywhere up there, if you're a PPI member.
Anybody in McCall?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Anyway, we'd love to have you host. It's as simple as just saying I'm willing to be there and grab some tables and pull them together.
Yeah.
That's really
just have a space to announce, because we don't necessarily know the places.
Yeah. So if you're into that, if you're interested in that, give me a shout, and I'll add you to a slide. I'll give you your own slide, and we'll go forth. So today's topic, let me get that slide up here for just a minute. We've got good conversation. Mia says she learned darkroom in high school and college. Who else is on here? Just great to have everybody on today. Let's go to this. I'm going to get this next slide. It is our title slide, and I should probably put that up here. Not that one. Here we go. You ready for this? Here's the title slide. Our conversation today is Be More Easily. And I say easily in this because this doesn't require you to purchase anything, learn anything. It doesn't require you to commit major blocks of time. It's tools that you already have in your toolbox that maybe you need to be reminded about.
No talent required.
In fact, it's really a lot about showing up.
Yeah.
Right? So let's rock right into this. So the first thing that I'm going to say, and this is a big one with me, is be on time.
And I was late this morning.
No, you know what? But you weren't late. Like,
I wasn't late.
Like screeching in as I'm starting the broadcast.
Yeah.
That happens sometimes. And again, this is volunteer, right?
Yeah.
So all of the other stuff comes first. The paid work comes first, and the family and the health comes first. And then here we are sitting in chairs on the camera on a Friday. And it's cool, but I'll tell you, I showed up to the networking meeting. I'm that guy that doesn't want to walk into a room crowded with people. I'd rather have the room full of people come into me.
Yeah.
And that may not be you.
That's interesting because I think I have a tendency to go in when it's crowded, not necessarily late. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not really a late person. I'm kind of an on, like right there on time.
Yeah. So there's the school of thought that early is on time and on time is late, and late is unacceptable.
Okay. Well, then I'm late.
But so like this kind of an event runs for a span of time and people come and go. That's different.
Yeah.
Right. I just know I have accessibility issues sometimes with my walk. I get a parking spot that's good for me, and then I'm there early. I get to the food before everybody's touched it because I'm immunosuppressed. I mean, those are all weird things that go into my thought process. But
I think one of the biggest things about being on time, and especially for business, even in family, like how many times do you have family get-togethers where you're like, you know what, I already know Susie's going to be late. Like
she's going to be late. She's going to be an hour late.
In fact, with our family, sometimes we know some of our family members. We are like, okay, tell them 30 minutes before. With weddings, when I used to shoot weddings, I would always tell the bride and groom to tell their families that we were going to actually shoot the family pictures 30 minutes to an hour before.
I am sure that there are people that can relate to this.
The biggest thing about it, and I think especially in business...
Shauna's in McCall.
Oh, Shauna's in McCall?
Shauna's in McCall. Boom! Shauna's in McCall.
Okay. Well, sweet.
She can have lunch by herself.
By herself. We could go up and visit.
Actually, can I ask the question, Shauna, do you have photographer friends up there that you're willing to share PPI with? Because they don't have to be members to just come to a lunch social. In fact, it's a great place to do an introduction. And I could get you, we've got some great takeaway postcards that I could send your way or give to you next time you're down here. And just let you get a small group together and maybe foster a community up there in that.
I know there's plenty of photographers up there, but just like down here, we have tons of photographers, and there's many of them that don't want to have anything to do with any other photographer.
Right,
So.
and that's a whole other conversation. That should be a conversation one day, right? All of its own. So being on time, and so in the business world, go ahead.
Can I finish what I was saying?
Yeah,
like
please.
I think that one of the first. Why can I not think of the word? Like first time you meet somebody, first impressions with your client. Thank you for filling my words. One of your first impressions is like your being on time or your stateliness, that kind of thing, and it can really, really set the mood with clients.
So you're either early and you're prepared for them when they walk up to you and everything's ready to go, or you show up on time and you gather and then you build your thing out from there, whatever that thing is, or you're arriving late. And what do you get when people arrive late? You get excuses.
Well, not only that, you can't give your best. Like you're rushing,
Yeah, and nobody wants excuses. Like if you're late, just be like, it wasn't the traffic, because guess what? You've lived here for how long? The traffic is the traffic. You can't use, I'm going to go to the other camera. You can't use traffic as an excuse.
It has, however, changed a lot over the last couple of years.
It has, but it's predictable.
Yeah.
I know that it takes longer to get down Meridian Road in the school time, and the lights are blinking, right? And the traffic's backed up all the way. Anyway.
Yeah.
Traffic's a lame excuse. It's just a lame excuse. So let's not get into excuse land. Let's not give them a reason like, sorry, I was late. All me.
Yeah.
Ooh, guess what, man? You just owned that. That's pretty cool. That should be on here. Own it. Maybe it is. Let's go to the next one. You want to carry that one?
Yeah. So carry a strong work ethic. And that really is just be like, make it a priority that when you're working, you're giving it your all. You're giving your client your all. Yeah. I think doubling back on what you were just saying, it's one that I really strongly feel about, and that's just being responsible. And I think that being responsible, and what I mean by that is no matter how much it may be somebody else's fault, how can you take responsibility for it yourself? Like, what could you have done different to make it better for them? Maybe that's telling your client that their start time is, or saying, make sure to be here 15 to 20 minutes early.
You know what? In my world, if they show up with wrinkled clothes, it's my fault.
Yeah. So, or if you take the pictures, or you have pictures that are completed that are with wrinkled shirts, it's your fault because you have the materials to make it, take care of that if it needs to.
This comes down to just like talking to your client, educating your client, like, hey, it's really important that you be on time because I'm paying somebody to assist us, or I've scheduled this specific time at this specific location, or it's important that we be on time to get started because we want to catch the right light, or give them an explanation of why they need to be on time other than you just want to watch the clock. Yeah. Right?
But their work ethic, there's so much more to it. I mean, that's a very broad topic. It goes very deep.
A big one for me that I'm struggling with myself lately is I like to say that I can do a quick turnaround on images, and we're getting so busy. The more
images you're getting,
Yeah, so I'm like, hey, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And they don't know that I can press a few buttons and
but that doesn't mean that you have bad work ethic. Yes, if you start to procrastinate.
It's when I promise a short time and don't make that.
Because you should always under-promise and over-deliver.
That's right.
But that is just a growth process. That's learning, okay, well, look, I'm busier now, so I either need to jack up my prices, raise my prices, or I need to bring somebody in that can help me keep on.
We're back to looking at that.
Yeah, so.
We actually hired somebody, about a year ago, and things took a bad turn for me in January.
Yeah,
and then she went through a process too. And that just didn't work out.
Yeah.
But so we're probably coming back into that realm. I've just been talking to Bri about that. So this goes right along with give the effort.
Yeah.
I was asked recently by somebody fairly prominent if I would be willing to travel to McCall to do their family pictures. I said no. And she looked at me like I had two heads, and she's like, well, I understand not wanting to travel. I'm like, it's not really that. When it comes to giving the effort, I don't love family pictures.
Yeah.
And I told her, I said, I don't love doing family pictures. I love doing what I do. And I'm good at it. But you want somebody to do your family pictures that absolutely loves doing your family pictures, because they're going to give you all of their effort. They're going to give their whole heart and soul into that.
Yeah.
And I just can't, because that's not me.
But there's a lot to be said for understanding where your zone of genius is and making sure that you have the ability. Photographers are notorious for getting into this industry and saying, you know what, well, I'm a wedding photographer, I'm a baby photographer, I'm a headshot photographer.
I have 25 specialties.
I'm family photographer. Yeah, all these different specialties. Well, guess what? Yes, you may be a great photographer, but juggling all that and doing it, you're being mediocre at all of them instead of being great at one or three of them.
I'm so glad to have this conversation with you, because I talk a lot about specialization, and I think people get tired of hearing me. You specialize pretty heavily.
I do.
Folks, specializing in something doesn't mean that you don't take other pictures.
No, absolutely not.
But I pick and choose those to how busy I am, or how well I'm feeling, or whether it pleases me otherwise. I've talked a lot about it. I did a project. I photographed a party for 2 hours for a 95-year-old, and her 8 children were all there. I mean, first of all, to have a 95-year-old is astounding.
Yeah.
Right? And then all 8 children are still living, because these people range from almost 80 down on into their 50s.
Yeah.
And we did this project, and it was a stunner. I had so much fun. The food was great. We just enjoyed the people a lot. That's totally not what I do.
What is your parameter, though, that you go by, the 3 things?
It's my 3 Ps.
Yeah.
It has to please me, has to build portfolio, or it has to pay me.
Okay.
And honestly, if it meets,
valuable.
I think it is our everything, right? If a project meets one of those, we'll consider it. Simply, if it doesn't meet one of those,
Don't do it.
hey, we're having a bridal shower. And
You don't get excited about bridal showers?
we'd like you to come photograph it, and it would be great exposure with all those
Oh,
moms.
jeez. Yeah.
Guess what?
I love
Does it
exposure.
meet any of my 3 Ps? Not at all. And I'm not there.
Yeah.
I'm not there. Plain and simple. Traveling to McCall to do family pictures? Yeah, it would pay me. But we really lean towards things that meet 2 of my 3 Ps. And if it hits all 3 of those boxes, man, I'm so in.
Yeah.
I'm so in. Like, you get all of me. Anyway, that's give the effort, right? If you're going to show up, if you're going to take the job, be prepared for it. That's part of giving the effort. Don't shoot from the hip. Have a plan. Get your gear ready. Inspect your equipment. One of my least favorite things to see, I used to do a lot of real estate photography, and I still participate in a real estate photography forum. And photographers are always posting on there how they got to the job without memory cards in their camera.
I've done that.
I'm sorry, man.
I've gotten to a job without a camera.
I could understand failing to load a critical piece of equipment. When you did your loading, you left something sitting on the table. But I'm sorry, man. Check your equipment before you go to the job. That's giving the effort, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we all make mistakes. We're human.
Well, so for me, Mia takes care of a lot of that stuff for me. And so, in fact, there's a lot of things that Mia does that I've gotten so used to those things that I don't really verify. Now, she was not the responsible party for me showing up to a shoot without my camera. We had a dad and a son that came in, and they were fighting like no other. And Dad was like, "Can we get this process going? What's taking so long?" And he just had me so flustered that I got in the car and we went to our first location. And I got there and I was like, "Holy crap! I'm just gonna make this worse." But it was a bad. But afterwards, like, my video guy was filming because they were like fighting, and the kid was like, "F you, Dave," to his dad. And I thought I was going to see something happen. But afterwards, they had such a great experience. They wrote me this great rave, like, thanks for bringing us together for that situation. I was like, man, I thought I was going to see.
You know what? So that leads right into the next one.
Positive energy.
Positive energy.
Yeah.
You can't show up all moody and gloomy.
Yeah.
You got to show up positive.
Yep.
You just have to have that attitude on that this is going to be a great time. One of the first things that we do, we get a lot of clients that come in here. I mentioned this earlier. This was probably before we went live too. We were talking about Buzzy Text, and I tried Buzzy Text for a year. I subscribed the whole thing. Most of the people that hire me aren't the people that I'm photographing. Yeah. So it didn't really work out for me. We used it for a couple of trade shows, and that was really cool. I got some good feedback on that, but we only do a couple of trade shows a year, so it didn't make sense to keep it. But you got to bring that positive energy. People show up, and a lot of those people have been told, go get your headshot.
Yeah.
Here's the address. And oftentimes I'll ask for their cell phone, and I'll text them the morning of, hey, I do, you can tell the Apple devices.
Yeah.
You can whole paragraphs, and I just keyword them.
Quick keys.
Yeah. So I just type pound Addy, and it tells them what our house looks like and where the door is to the studio, and they now know a little bit about where they're going.
Yeah.
Right. Take a little pressure off, and I'm like, relax. Oh, you know what? Arrive early, and if you can't arrive early, like I get texts often, hey, I'm stuck in traffic. Okay, fine. Don't worry about it, man. I've got this time set aside for you. It's one of my diffusers.
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest things about positive energy is I think that positivity begets positivity, negativity begets, I don't know if begets is the right, begets. Yeah, totally. For instance, and I'm going to throw Mia under the bus.
You do that a lot, poor girl.
She's dealing with life, and the last 2 days she's not been her normal chipper fun self, and it does not to beat up on you, Mia, but we love you. Same thing. Like when I go into work on a day and I'm in a bad mood or I'm frustrated, she is very, very much impacted by my bad mood. Yeah, we experienced that here too. Oh, with you guys. I thought you were saying my bad mood. No. I was like, well, so, you know what? Even I'll own that. Yeah. I'll own the bad mood.
Well, it was last year's board retreat. I was just in a snit.
Yeah.
And you called me on it. You're like, what's the deal? And I'm like, it really made me think about what's the deal. Why am I being such a jerk?
Yeah.
Okay, let's refocus that. And the next day was better.
Yeah.
I had to think about it and be like, why am I bringing this attitude to the table? And why is it I don't want to play this game? I don't like playing games. That's why. But it was what it is. But you got to bring that positive energy.
Yeah.
And so this is where I'm going to interject this line here. Okay. So this isn't just about business. This is your business, this is photography, this is family, this is your spouse or partner, this is your community, this is your volunteerism, this is all of those things. Everything that we're talking about here doesn't take any of your money, doesn't take upper education. All of this stuff is stuff you probably already know. But sometimes we just need to hear it. Along with positive energy.
Yeah.
Body language is a factor.
Yeah, body language is huge. I know that's one thing that I've learned, and I think that for photographers, when we're new in this industry, and like we are terrified to do something wrong, we're terrified to say something wrong, we're terrified people are, and so sometimes those things really, really do resonate. So Dave Key's daughter, Juliana, after retreat, and I got to meet her, I actually sent her a text message and said, hey, I'd love to come on one of your shoots with you, because I wanted to see how she works. And I thought nothing of it. I was like, no big deal. But then as I was getting to meet her, I was like, this could be like really terrifying for her. For me, if I was in her position and
Is she new?
Yeah, she's new to work, but I think that she's new enough that it didn't bother her, because she was great. She didn't I actually ended up just kind of being her assistant on the
So
thing.
you know what? I've done that.
Yeah.
I went out and helped Laquita with a shoot. I said, I'm your assistant.
Yeah.
She's new to working with lights. She's like, I'm terrified to do this, but I know I have to start.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I'm your assistant.
And I think that that's where the stay humble. And I'm not saying I'm a humble person, because I'm probably not.
I think you know what? I'm going to just lay this out there. You have surprised me time and time again with your humbleness.
Well, thank you, but anyway. But all I'm saying, like,
you're blushing.
I know,
you're totally blushing.
But all I'm
mean
saying
that
about
in all
it, and
sincerity.
I truly appreciate that. I'm not good about taking compliments, but thank you truly. But all I'm saying is
blushing.
that
How cute is he? Huh?
I am. But that obviously one of our 15 is be humble, and I think that is where that kind of comes in, and that can really also be part of your body language. Like you can really, your body language can exude douchebaggery.
You lay that out there.
There you go. Which I can do well.
Eye rolling, sighing, gestures, all of those kinds of things, those dismissive behaviors, they have no place in the professional world.
Yeah.
Right? And we all know people that do those kinds of things, and it leads to you wanting to discount their opinion.
Yeah.
Because their body language either says that they're displeased, or they don't trust, or you're not worthy. You want to try to avoid that, right? So that's one of the things that you can be more about, is just, your body language, your positive energy, and your humility. That plays a big role.
Yeah.
Right? All right, let's come back up.
Okay, so the next one is do it with passion.
Yeah, I love this.
And I think this one is so incredibly valuable. Just exactly what you were saying earlier. You're going to do the things that you're passionate about, and when you do focus on the things that you're passionate about, you will excel beyond anything. You've read the book The Big Leap, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. One of my favorite books. I talk about it all the time. Gay Hendricks is the author. You can find it on Amazon. It talks about finding your zone of genius, what you're passionate about, and if you can find what you're passionate about and you can focus all your energy on that and stay away from the things that drain you, then you'll do well. If I cull images after a shoot, I fall asleep. It bores me that much. I love seeing them. I get excited about it, but it bores me that much. I'm just not passionate about that. So I've learned to give that off to somebody else.
That's good. That's good. I do a lot of compositing. I was just telling you that I've got like 145 composites to create. I'll be working all weekend. I don't work weekends.
Yeah.
In fact, our job is unique enough that we pretty much work straight 9 to 5 or 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. And most businesses don't send people on the holidays because they don't want to pay overtime. So for us to work an evening or weekends is really unusual. But right now, I'm at close to 80 people this week, and I've got like 145 composites to create. So I'll be working all week.
Yeah.
But it is something I enjoy, the compositing. I really enjoy that aspect of it. Flip that on its axis a little bit. I brought my camera to the volleyball tournament last weekend, and I'm learning how to run the R5 for sports. I don't know how to do that. Right? Like, I know I can do it. But which focusing mode is the best? Eye tracking is going to find the closest eye. That didn't work. I found out.
But you can change it to like what your tracking is, whether it's to eye or versus body.
Yeah, there's a lot of things you can. So that's what I was doing. I'm like, I'm going to figure out how to use my camera to shoot volleyball. But I came back with a memory card completely, in burst mode on the R5, it's like 20 frames per second. You fill the memory card pretty quick.
Yeah.
I came back and I just told my kid, I'm like, look, man, I don't really want to go through these. There's 1,035 pictures here. Why don't you come see? And he wanted to look at footwork, and he wanted to see, look, this guy's standing flat-footed. That's not the right. So he was really into looking at all of the details that I'd captured over the course of the weekend.
Tape.
Right. Watch, replay, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Let's see. Laquita, what did you just say, darling? It says, you guys are both really great guys. Sam could have terrified me, but was very kind and patient with me and helped me get through a fear. Oh, I know what she's talking about.
When we were driving up 4-by-N.
Yep. Laquita, you're one of the most humble people I know, and you're an absolute joy to be around, and that's why people want to help you. That's true.
I do have a tendency to push people's
limits?
comfort zone.
Well, anytime
limits.
I put somebody in front of the camera, very few people are TV personalities want to get in front of the camera. Right? I'm one of those people. You're one of those people. You don't mind at all, right?
Yeah.
But
I used to.
You used to mind?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Doing this regularly has changed. The first time I ever did it, I heard my voice and I was like, oh my gosh. And now, sadly, I don't mind my voice on video, which sounds
There's nothing sad about that. I've been doing this since sophomore year of high school. My freshman year of high school, they put in a cable TV studio at high school, and I co-anchored a cable TV news broadcast for our town.
Yeah,
so I've been in front of the camera a long, long time and doing video production longer than a lot of you have been alive. All right, there's that. Except Laquita, we're the same age. Within a month, that's awesome.
Carly said something.
What did Carly say? Oh my gosh. I took photos at Dave's last few softball games, and the guys all said the same thing. They were checking form on their swings. Yeah, that's exactly what my son was looking at. And he noticed that, so he and another player are the two blockers on the team, and they both go up on the net. And the other guy's getting about a whole hand height higher than he is.
Better start doing some box jumps.
So you know what, that's it. So that he's like, I need to work on my jumps. I need to work on my vertical. I'm like, well, that's cool. I'm glad I'm there because they'll never see portfolio. I was having fun, so it pleased me, and it's something that my boy wanted, and it's giving me experience with my camera that I wouldn't normally get with my camera. I realized I don't need to shoot RAW.
No.
I did shoot RAW, but I'm going to shoot JPEG next time because the exposures. I did shutter priority plus 2/3 because there are giant windows on the wall, and I wanted the players nice and bright, and everything's spot on.
Yeah.
So I don't need to shoot RAW. I can just shoot JPEG and just blaze away, and then he can go through the 3,000 pictures I'm going to create, right? Carly, is saying, but it was so much fun shooting sports again was my point. You know, I haven't, I had tried, when I first came here to Idaho, I started working with CBS Sports has a high school level division, and I tried that, and I just found that I didn't enjoy photographing other people's kids playing sports that my kids weren't in. I tried it.
See, we use it as a marketing.
It just didn't appeal to me, right? Like, so I'm out there on the football field. I'm raising nerds, man. My kids don't play football. So I'm out on the football field. I mean, I know about football.
I'm raising nerds.
I am. I've got 4 sons. It's this is D&D capital here in my conference room. Anyway, we're way off track. We're quarter till. Let's roll through a couple of these without really expanding.
Okay.
Doing extra.
That's kind of a given. Like
you already said
promise, under deliver, or
under promise, over deliver. That's doing extra. The little extra things that I do for my client, I have just a little bit of touch-up stuff here. We call it a touch-up station. We don't do hair and makeup for headshots. Most of the time when hair and makeup is done for headshots is way, way, way too heavy. So we just want them as natural as they normally are, and we just add a little bit of shine to their lips or whatever it is. And we have single-use applicant. Anyway, it's just a little extra, right?
We take
it's just
all of our
something they
clients
didn't
to
expect.
Dutch.
That's extra, right?
Sometimes we even take them to dinner. So.
And you know what? I send my referrals. I don't tell them this ever. I send my referrals a $10 gift card to BlackRock. All right. Be prepared. We talked about that a little bit. Like, don't go into something mindlessly. Like, prepare your mind and prepare your heart and prepare your equipment and make sure that you're ready. Yeah. We like to prepare for our big shoots on location. We like to prepare the night before. I know that everything is ready to go into the van. We never load the vehicles because I don't want my gear sitting in the car overnight outside. But we load out. I've got checklists. And we talk through the lighting diagram. We mark all the equipment off, and then the next day it all goes into a pile. There's not stuff everywhere. It goes into a pile, and once the pile is loaded, we know we have everything. Yeah. But that's being prepared. That's the way I be prepared. How do you know what? Tell me. How do you go about being prepared?
I think it's huge, and like for sales sessions, that's one of the things I like to do is prepare for sales sessions, and that's something that.
So is that a mental preparation? Tell me about that.
No, I actually. So
I want to hear about that.
Well, it used to be that I just had pictures, pulled them into ProSelect. Now I actually go in, I set up a specific slideshow. I have an album design already created for it. I put it into the slideshow. I create groupings for them that will go into the slideshow. I think about like all the different objections that I might deal with. I consider there's a lot of data that has just randomly gone into it, knowing like things they've said out on the shoot, things like really being the opportunity of going to their house for the in-home consultation. All these things are like things that like I'm putting this into my preparation, and instead of just my appointment's at 9, boom, I'm here at 9 or 8:45.
I would love to have you do a full episode.
I actually have a whole YouTube video about it.
Do you?
Yeah.
Well, we should highlight that. Is that on your 7FP or where do you?
Yeah, it's on 7FP. Mia could actually probably pull it up pretty quick and put a link in here for
That'd be pretty
if
neat.
if she's still watching.
Bob Quick is here. He says, Sam Marvin and Bob Ryder. Ooh. That's definitely giving it more weight than it should have.
But the next one I'm really excited about.
I love this. Go. Because you do this. I do it too, but not as much as you.
Be coachable. And you know what? I actually have to be better about this because I do have a tendency to get a little bit arrogant about who I'm willing to learn from. And I think we struggle even just in PPI, like people, feeling like, oh, well, I don't have anything to learn from that person. One thing I love is I love to learn from anybody and to expect they may not have a lot to teach me, but there might be a nugget I can get from that. One of the reasons that I wanted to go out with Juliana on the shoot is because I love young photographers that are passionate because I've lost the passion.
Oh!
So meaning
it
more
refreshes
so,
your passion.
It does, and it's inspiring. it's inspiring to see young people or people that are new to the industry, how excited about things they are, how like they'll look at anything and everything as a picture, and I'm just like, oh, that's just like garbage. Like, it's inspiring. And so I think
which kind of goes back
being coachable is
to what Carly was saying about shooting sports again and just having fun just shooting something. So that was totally me, as going out and shooting something that I don't normally shoot and running a camera in a way that I don't normally run a camera. I was really looking forward to that opportunity up at Fall Retreat of just taking pictures of the different models and doing that just so that we had that material, and I didn't get to do that. But being coachable is huge. I love to give. I love to teach. But I guess I'm pretty selective about who I want to learn from. And I think that largely goes more towards personality than anything else. But there's also things that I'm like, I don't really want to learn to shoot. Okay, I've got a colleague who shoots some of the best maternity I've ever seen here in the Boise area, and she sends me a lot of referrals for the headshot stuff. She does headshots too. She started as headshots, but she's doing maternity, but I don't want to learn that. Yeah. Like I'm not coachable on that.
But
But I love to look at her work.
Yeah. But where I see it is like, you may not want to learn maternity, but you could watch her work with her clients and see something about how she does something with them that could be applied to your business.
Sure. We subscribed to Sue Bryce for a year.
That's what I look at. So
we subscribed to Sue Bryce for a year so I could learn more about posing women. And that's important, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's always something to be learned, but I probably wouldn't lay cash on the line to learn from somebody that teaches something that isn't directly related to what I do.
And I think that's pretty, it's got to fulfill a need naturally.
I have to be able to justify it, other than I could probably learn something there.
Yeah.
Right?
There's definitely, you have to, regardless being in business, you have to make, an investment, a good investment, not just a throw money at anything that claims to be education.
Somewhere I must have spelled your last name with a G on the end.
Me?
Probably over on YouTube. I probably did it. Bob Quick has mentioned Sam Marving a few times. It's probably on YouTube because I didn't see it really anywhere else.
That's right. Sam Marving, Sam Martin.
Well, and if I did it on this keyboard, the space bar doesn't work where you can see where I've just hit it. Anyway, typos happen, especially when you're doing this late at night, because that's when I did this last night, right? Getting it on the air, getting it ready. All right, so let's hit a few of these other things. Okay. It is time to really wrap it up. Go ahead.
Have a healthy attitude. I mean, I think that's really kind of falls in line with positive energy.
Yeah, totally.
But also, the healthy attitude can kind of go in with 15 is like not just having a good positive attitude, but having an attitude focused on healthy living as well.
Yeah, like taking care of yourself so that you can be there for your client.
Which is not something I have a whole lot to talk about.
Well, you know what? We all have a lot to talk about, right? You know what I did? So I've already said it. I'm in the midst of doing a massive amount of composite images.
Yeah.
I've been sitting and stand. I can sit and stand and lay down, but I can't do any of those for a very long period of time. I took a walk yesterday around the block, and it was hard. All right, for those of you that don't know, I've had a hard year with spine surgery and half the year in a wheelchair, and I took a walk yesterday. I just needed to get out of my space and clear my head so that I could come back and give more of me into that. But you're right. Consider your nutrition and fitness goes along with a healthy attitude. And I'm not talking about eating granola and going to yoga. I'm just talking about doing the things that are good for you. I know sleep is important to me. I know that moving my body is important to me. I know that eating good foods is important to me. And those are kind of my 3 pillars.
One thing that's not on this list, but I think really goes well with have a healthy attitude is do things with intention.
Ooh.
One of the reasons, sorry, I just hit my mic. One of the reasons I like to fish a lot is because it really gives me a chance to just kind of decompress. However, oftentimes I go out fishing and I don't intentionally use that time to kind of decompress and restart.
That's literally what I did yesterday.
So yeah, taking a walk specifically to create some sort of
I just needed a gap.
Doing things with intentionality. I don't know if that's even technically a word. Intentionality.
Just being intentional.
Intentional.
I
Doing
think that's
things
good.
intentionally.
Yeah.
That's the word. I think is really important.
Bob Quick says it was on the ad for today's live. It happens, Bob. I
That's
put
all
a
right.
G on the end of his name. He's now Sam Marving.
Marving.
It's okay.
I'm going to change the website, actually.
He likes his name. So, believe in something, stay humble, do the work. Do the work.
Yeah.
If you promise something, do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And do it, like, get it done, like.
So sometimes do the work is learning how to do the work.
Not only that, but when you do the work, and I see this so much with so many people, even myself, create a system and then stick to that system.
Yeah.
We have so many systems in our business, and people get outside of them, and then it just goes.
Boy, our biggest conundrums are when we work outside our system.
Yeah.
The one-offs, and we did something different, like, oh,
Yeah.
boom. And so 14, this is probably my biggest struggle right now.
I struggle with this one too.
Yep. Well, I'm going to let you throw it out there. We're right here in this camera right here.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So being patient, I am so not. I'm definitely like I want it now. I know this also goes in the realm of being patient with clients. Now I'm going to share a quick story. One of my coaching clients.
Love it.
She right now is in a position in her business, and I know she's not going to watch this. I hope she doesn't. If she does, it's okay. And photographers deal with this a lot. People will ask about, well, can I get a price list? Like they'll send you email, you'll have some back and forth, and, well, can I get a price list? Or that's really expensive. We take it personally and like it's a personal attack.
Yeah.
And then sometimes our response comes from that area of our heart as almost a
this is good.
like a response or
It's a reaction.
Reaction,
Yeah.
yes. So it's being reactionary instead of being intentional
Or disciplined about.
or disciplined. And I think that what happens is what we're missing is we're not being patient and understanding these are just questions people are asking because
Well,
they have
one
a
of the
need.
things that I've learned is that they don't necessarily know what questions to ask
Correct.
unless they're in the business in some form.
Yeah.
And I can talk about that in just a second. But if this is a person who's never had a headshot before,
Yeah.
they don't really know. They might ask, what should I wear?
Yeah.
But the first thing they're like, how much does this cost?
Yeah.
And like,
Because it's the most
it's basic.
common thing to ask.
It is.
And I find it really interesting because how much does this cost? We automatically sometimes are like on the defense.
Yeah.
But I think, being able to just really be patient with people about what they're trying to do. One of the things we specifically ask on our call, we have a call, what is it called? The template, call script.
A script?
And it says, how much do you know about this industry, or how much do you know about senior portraits? Because oftentimes, first leading question is, how much does it cost? And we have what we call the 3-strike rule. The first time they ask, we say, well, can I get some more information so I can better understand what your needs are? And
that.
then typically, we're going to follow up with, well, is a boy or girl? How important are senior pictures to you? What do you know about senior pictures? And then once we've gotten through that, normally people don't ask about the price aspect as much anymore. But if they do, then that's when we move on to strike 2 and we say, okay, well, here's your averages, typically from this much to this much.
Yeah.
If they ask a third time, then we're like, well, here you go. Scares you away, no big deal.
In my world, because we're not consumer faced,
Yeah.
we're business faced, we kind of take the no bullshit line.
Yeah.
So my prices are on my website, and they act as a filter.
And that's perfectly
They
fine.
act as a filter.
And every business is different. Like every industry.
Every industry is different.
different.
My clients don't want to mess around with.
No.
Well, and you know what though, there's a very successful photographer doing what I do back in DC, and you have to enter into his gateway, and it's going to initiate an email and a text message, and then he calls within a few minutes.
Yeah.
He tries to call within 30 minutes of them putting in their information because he books more successfully with phone calls. And I totally get that. And he's doing 100,000 plus a month in headshots. Right?
That's incredible.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
But I'm not that aggressive.
Yeah.
I'm not that aggressive. He's super motivated about buying Corvettes, and he bought his parents a Mercedes. He didn't buy these things. He's purchased them, but it's not money, it's credit. Like that.
Yeah.
Like my motives are different, right?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
There's so much to this. So I'm going to run this list down so it's all concise right at the end. Be on time, carry a strong work ethic, give the effort, positive energy, consider your body language, do with passion, do extra, be prepared.
Be coachable, have a healthy attitude, believe in something, which we didn't cover a ton about that, but make it part of what you do. Stay humble, do the work, be patient, huge.
Yep.
Consider your nutrition and fitness, and then we added in be intentional about what you do.
I love that. I think this has been a great topic. I want to bring this up. This is going to be the last thing that we are going to do here. And I usually have Larry cover it. It's just about joining and our membership. We're a nonprofit organization. We've been around since 1968, which is phenomenal. We are currently at the helm of this organization with a lot of really incredible, talented photographers who've come before us and laid the foundation for the organization that we are today. So why don't you mention that part real quick?
So join us. It's really not very expensive. It's $100 or $100.
It's $100 a year. It's $99 a year or $9.99
or $9.99 a month. So it's a great resource. We try to make sure that the organization is all about the people. We try to make our decisions, our education, and all that based on what is going to be best for our people. And so
what serves our membership? And our membership is you.
I think the most valuable thing about what we do is really the community aspect.
And we know this from talking to David Trust with PPA. Anybody can offer education. There's lots of educational opportunities out there from the junior college level all the way through. Pick a program, WPPI, PPA, ASMP. Everybody has their own certifications. There's a path, right? YouTube, you name it. There's just tons of ways to take education, local workshops. But one of the things that you don't get with anything online is you don't build that community. You don't build those relationships. And I'll tell you, one of the things that's really valuable to me is I know that if I've got a big job, I can tap a handful of my PPI friends. I need extra photographers. I need some people to do some toting some stuff around and setting some lights so that it can take a little bit off my back. I've got all of those resources. I need a piece of gear. I need a piece of kit. I'm worried about having enough batteries for the job, right? Because everything's on batteries these days. I know I can go to my peers.
Yeah.
And my door's open. I give visits mostly on Mondays. I get guys that come by and just hang out and chat for a while. Anyway, it's a good place to be. We hope you'll join us. We need to get going because we're going to be at Idaho Pizza Company here on Fairview in Meridian at 1 o'clock.
Need me some food.
Yeah, eat us some food. All right, well, I'm going to lay it out, ending on this slide, okay? Hey, we'll see you. We won't be here next week unless one of you guys is going to put it on. I won't be here next week.
I'd have to look.
All right, well.
I think.
Watch the interwebs to see what happens next week. I don't have a good answer
for you.
But
we'll see you soon at any.
I actually have several great episodes coming up, and been great to have you here, man.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
All right, buddy.
Okay,
see you later.
Take care, guys.